Hey everyone, I'm Coach Anna, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about the beginner's guide to running. So if anyone out there is doesn't have too much experience with running, but you're trying to get into it, I have some tips for you. All right, so tip number one in the beginner's guide to starting running is to make sure that you start slow and easy. So what I mean by that is basically you don't want to do too much too fast. A lot of people, when they start out running, they want to tend to go a super fast pace and they want to just do a lot of mileage because they're like excited to get into running and stuff like that. But that's actually like one of the main things that you don't want to do because that can lead to overuse injuries. So if you're not, even if you are a pretty fit person, and you have experience in exercising and stuff like that, running is like very different than like strength training or other types of cardio. It puts a lot of strain on your body. So you want to start nice and slow, and maybe you could start out with doing, like, for example, running for 3 minutes, like doing like a run walk. So like running for 3 minutes, walking for 3 minutes, or running for half a mile, walking for half a mile, stuff like that. I'd say the biggest thing is just to listen to your body and try to go for like a conversational pace where you're not super out of breath. You feel like you could still maintain a conversation with someone. Second tip that is pretty good when you're first starting out to help ensure you're not doing too much mileage too quickly. Something that you can do is just keep a log on your phone or on a piece of paper of what runs you're doing. So how much distance are you doing, and for how long and what pace and stuff like that, just to ensure that slowly from week to week, as you increase your mileage and increase your distance, you're not doing too much too fast. And Apple Watch is a great way to do that. I have the Apple Watch here, and it's one of the best fitness technology purchases I've ever made. I use it all the time. It's so great for my runs when I'm training because you can go to the workout tab, just select outdoor run, and it'll give you the pace and the distance, and there's like a GPS tracker in there as well. It's super great. The next tip in the beginner's guide to running that is super, super important, maybe one of the most important things, is to get proper running shoes. I know a lot of people personally who have started getting into running, and they just continue to use some old, like, beat up tennis shoes from 5 years ago, and those are the shoes that they run in, which I would highly recommend not doing because that can lead to overuse injuries. Because once your shoes are worn out, which studies say every about like 300 to 500 miles, or about every 6 months, you should get a new pair of running shoes. And if you go way over that time frame, what can happen is that cushion that's in the shoe that helps you absorb that force and that strain from hitting the ground when running, over time, as that shoe gets more worn out, that can completely wear down, and then when your foot makes contact with the ground, it's just all going right on the pavement, and all that force is just absorbing, which can lead to knee pain and shin splints and other things, which is not good. So how do you go about getting the proper running shoes? So what I've done personally, go to a running shoe store in your area. I don't know if you have this specific one where you live, but the one I've went to is called Roadrunner Sports. So go to either that store or another running shoe store similar, and the people who work there are super nice, and they know a lot about shoes, so they can have you get on a treadmill for about a minute and watch you run, and they will look at your running gait and your running form, and they'll be able to pick out which shoe is best for you. So for example, I run in Hoka's a lot because when I run, the workers at Roadrunner Sports have told me that I midfoot strike the ground. And so what that means is I need a shoe that has a pretty low heel to toe drop, which a heel to toe drop is the distance between the heel and the front of the shoe. So you want a shorter drop for that, which means you want the shoe to be pretty similar in drop from the back of the shoe to the front of the shoe. And so Hoka's are really good for me, but for someone who were to heel strike the ground, a shoe like Brooks would probably be better for you. So go to a store and have them look at your running gait, and they'll be able to give you a shoe that is perfect for you. And that's going to really help you reduce the risk of getting those overuse injuries. The next tip in the beginner's guide to running that I would recommend is when you first start running, is to mix up the surfaces that you're running on. So a surface that's like a sidewalk, that's like pretty hard pavement, so that surface for running is going to be the hardest on your body. But then surfaces like trail running or gravel, those are going to be way easier on the joints, and there won't be as much force going through the body when you make contact with the ground. And also the treadmill is also good. Some treadmills aren't the best, like treadmills that are older, but the newer treadmills kind of give and like move downward as you're running, and so they really help absorb that force. So I just try to mix up the surfaces you're running on. But if you're not able to if you don't really have access to a lot of running surfaces in your area, then I would try to definitely prioritize gravel or trail running over the pavement outside. In addition to mixing up those running surfaces, I would also recommend when you first start taking a day off in between each of your runs, maybe start with only 2 or 3 days a week with a day off in between and see how your body responds to it. Because again, same with tip number 1, where you don't want to reduce or you don't want to increase your running mileage too quickly. Similar to that, you don't want to run multiple days in a row at the beginning because your body's still getting used to those movements. So doing that will help prevent those overuse injuries. Another tip that I recommend is stretching after your runs. That is super, super important. In the past, I haven't been the best with remembering to stretch after all my runs, and I definitely, if I skip a day, I definitely do feel it the next day. The last couple weeks, I've also started doing yoga twice a week, and I've noticed a huge difference in terms of my flexibility and how my legs feel during runs and how they recover after the runs. So definitely stretch. It doesn't have to be too much. Just do about 5 or 10 minutes after your runs. Make sure you get all those main muscles that are used in running: the quads, hamstrings, calves, and glutes. And also, in addition to stretching, I would definitely use a foam roller or a massage gun if you have one. The last and final tip I have for you guys today in the beginner's guide to starting running is to eat more carbs. When you start running, I would definitely recommend slowly adding more carbs into your diet, because the main energy source that your body uses up when you're doing cardio, such as running, is carbs. Carbs fuel all of your runs. They give you more energy and they help with that recovery after. So definitely making sure you eat some carbs either before your run or after your run to help replenish the carbs that you burn during the run. So that is all the tips in the beginner's guide to running that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys take some of my advice on these tips, and good luck to everyone starting their running journey. I'm Coach Hannah, a fitness trainer with a degree in kinesiology. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and as always, chase those fitness goals.